I already know that I've been chosen. So Lord, for my sake, help me to take one day at a time, one day at a time, one day at a time, one day at a time. I gotta keep my head up, I gotta keep moving, even when it gets tough for me. I gotta keep pursuing. It ain't easy always, but I gotta say, it's worth it all when God leads the way. So Lord, for my sake, help me to take one day at a time, one day at a time, one day at a time, one day at a time. I'm only human, I'm just a man. Lord, help me to be all I can be and all that I am. It ain't easy always. Sometimes life throws out delays. I'll just take it day by day, knowing that in the end what you promised will come to pass. My right now, it won't always last. So Lord, for my sake, help me to take one day at a time, 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 one day at a time. Help me to take. God, give me what I need to take one day. Little by little, I'll be what you call me to be. Yeah. One day at a time. One day at a time. One day at a time. Lord, give me the strength to take one day at a time. Lord, all I need is give me one day.
City of dreams, a city with nothing except for what it seems. They'll never take you away from me, 'cause I see nothing but infinity. And I would love you wherever you are. I'll be wishing on every star. I believe that you'll never fall. I'm begging you. New York City, please go easy on me tonight. New York City, please go easy on this heart of mine. I'm losing my lover to the arms of another. New York City, please go easy on me. Does it ever get easy? Does it ever start? Does it always end with a broken heart? Will you ever see
All right, good morning, everyone. Give me 1 second, if you will, to get everything unshared, and we'll go ahead and get started. All right. Thank you so much, you guys, for joining in this morning. I appreciate you joining our morning accountability call. You could have been anywhere, but you decided to be here with us. And so thank you for joining. We won't delay any longer. I have some great motivational videos that I have together here for you this morning. And so we're going to go straight into it. If you will, just give me 1 second, and I'm going to go ahead and share the videos that we have. Again, make sure that you have your team on this call, get your takeaways together and everything, and we will discuss after we watch the video. Just 1 second.
What the haters say. Prayer changed things. I'm talking to a girl that I grew up on a block, man, that it didn't breed success. A lot of people on our block ain't here no more, man. I grew up in a place, man, that was you had to be something else, you come up out of there. Prayer changes things. I was told I would never be nothing. Prayer changes things. I flunked out of school. Prayer changes things. I'm on my third marriage, lost everything I've owned twice. I've been homeless and lived in a car for 3 years. Prayer changes things. Prayer. The cool thing about prayer is the one thing that's available to everybody at any given time. Do you know that God ain't ever too busy for you? You know that God actually knows who you are? Do you know that God actually created you to converse with him? Do you know that God would actually love to hear from you? You're not gonna make it without God. If you've tried it so far, tell me how that's working out for you. It sucked, don't it? You need God. Don't you think I got here without him. I've needed him every step of the way. If it wasn't for God, I wouldn't even be standing here today. I'm telling you right now, you need God. You need to tell him that you need him. Quit being ashamed about it and worrying about who looking. Go somewhere by yourself today and tell God you need some help. Tell him that you're just tired of trying to figure it out for yourself. God has an incredible life for you. He really does. But you ain't gonna get there if you give up. You can't get to what God got for you if you stop. You can't get to what God got for you if you're afraid. Now I know taking chances is kind of fretful, but the best things in life is on the other side of fear. But one of the things that I've always done to help overcome my fears is I make my dreams bigger than all my fears. I have dreams that's so big that not getting there is just unacceptable. It doesn't make any sense for you not to have the life that you dream of. It does not make any sense. God really does want to use you as an example of what he can do. You just got to volunteer. But you got to be willing to go through something to get to it. Success ain't free. They ain't passing out money, man. Ain't nobody sending none to your house. That ain't how this works. You got to go get it. But in order to go get it, you got to want something. You got to have vision boards. You got to have stuff you dream about. You got to have this stuff written down. That being successful is not an accident. Hey, man, stop thinking, man, that your life is over because you're a certain age. Who are you to determine? You know what I can't stand when I hear Christians say, well, I guess it was the Lord's will. If it was the Lord's will, I would have had some money by now. No, you can't dump that on God. God's will is that you prosper. That's his will. Now, the fact that you done made some adverse decisions to stop your prosperity train from happening, don't dump that on him. God comes to give you life and give you life more abundantly. That's what he say. Well, then the question is, where your abundant at? You're going down to church, you're memorizing all these scriptures. Why don't you apply some of them? He come to give you life and give you life more abundantly. God got a great life for you, man, but you got to want something. You got to want it, you got to write it down. Most people don't have what they want in life because it ain't written down nowhere. Say no philosophy. This a fact. What you waiting on? Write it down. Put some faith on it. And then get ready to go to work. Sit up and you can believe in God all you want, but if you don't work, man, it ain't going to happen. Because he told you that, though. He said faith without works is dead. I'm just asking you, man, to try something new. If you've tried everything, it ain't worked for you. I'm just asking you, just try writing it down. Just try writing it down. Go home and read Habakkuk 2:2 and see if you don't get the feeling he's talking to you. After you write it down, I want you to put some faith on it. And when you put some faith on it, I want you to work for it. I want you to believe in your heart that you will have it. Now, you might not want this life. You might not want what it takes to get here. But if you want this life, you got to put in your work. You got to put it in. You got to stay prayerful. You got to never give up. You got to talk to God every day. Now, if that ain't what you want to do, then good luck. You keep doing what you've been doing, you're going to keep getting what you've been doing. All I ever asked God for was to let me eat. Let me sit at the table with the big boys. Take me from this homelessness that I'm in and fill my coffers with spoils. You know how much I have today? I have more than I ever thought I'd ever have. I got more. God done gave me more than I asked for because he got this thing he has called grace. Grace is, I wish I could buy it. You know, I wish I could buy grace, man. I was playing golf with an old guy that owns the Mayo Clinics. The Mayo Clinics, you know how much money you got to have to own all of them? I'm playing golf with this guy and he taught me something. He said, Steve, listen to this. You seem like a spiritual guy. I want to share something with you. He said, justice is when you get what you deserve. Mercy It's when you don't get what you deserve. He said, but grace is different from both of them. Grace is when you get what you don't deserve. Do you understand that? God has this thing that he passes out called grace. You ever heard old people say, all I want is a little more grace? Because guess what? He passes it out and he gives you things you don't deserve. I do not deserve this life I have. I'm just telling you flat out. The money I make, where I live, what I drive, how I travel, how I vacation, I don't deserve it. I work really hard, but I really don't deserve all this. I don't.
Hi there. It's true. J.R. Ewing made me rich. Back in 1982,
I'm telling you flat out, I don't deserve it. But he gave me grace. He let me survive homelessness. He brought me from dark, man. I've been out, y'all don't know. I've been in it, man. I'm so grateful that God let me have this life he gave me that I don't even know what to do. Do you know when I was homeless, I told God every day, if you let me make it, when I get there, I'm gonna tell everybody it was you. Well, guess what? I'm telling you that it was him. I have no education. I ain't got a degree of any kind. What you see today is a boy that come out the bottom who believed in him when it wasn't no sign of me getting over, who kept doing this thing that his mother taught him. She said, when it get dark for you and you can't find your way, and boy, I was lost. She said, don't forget to pray. Don't be ashamed to pray. And don't ever be too proud to pray, because prayer changes things. You have got to pray. You know what you ought to get? You ought to create your relationship with God. Because if you do that, he's gonna put some grace on you. And he's gonna give you some things you don't deserve. Then you won't need no education. You won't need to go and complete the program no more. You ain't got to go over here and ask nobody will they hire you. God takes you to places that you never ever thought you go. I never saw myself here, but that God I serve, he saw me here and he put me here. Now all I'm doing right now is telling you that with God you can make it. I don't know why he had you come to this show. I don't know why I'm telling it to you like this today. But if you ain't ever tried God, listen to me. You should try him, because he's very available to you right now. He don't love me no more than he love you. If God can pick me up, and you have no idea who you're really looking at, you don't know what I've done. If God can change me, he changed anybody in this room. God is good, man.
Wow, wow, wow. That was an amazing, amazing video. Give me 1 second while I stop sharing. Okay, I got it. Amazing, amazing, amazing video. I know that you guys got some things from that. I do have one more short video that I want to add to that one. So we're going to go right into that one. Then I want to get your takeaway. So do be sure that you are, jotting down what you get from this and everything. And we'll go right into our takeaways when we get done with this next one. Just 1 second.
I knew firsthand the hardship. And especially, you know, because the truth be told, I wasn't that good of a student. A lot of the things that I thought that wouldn't serve me in life. You know how hard-headed teenagers can be, they think they know it all. Because I never thought that I would use a lot of what I was being taught in my real life. And to give that little hard-headed kid some degree. Because I can honestly say in the 27 years since I left high school, nobody has ever asked me about the square root of nothing. Nobody has ever asked me about the Nina, the Pinta, or the Santa Maria. Nobody, Jane and Susie had 4 apples, walked 5 miles, they divided their apple. Listen, I never met Jane and I never met Susie. I know some of you thinking, why are you telling these young folks this? They have just studied, they've learned all this. Well, I just want you to know, you ain't gonna use all of it. But that's okay, that's okay. Some of your faces are saying right now, you mean to tell me I could have skipped college and been rich and successful like Tyler Perry? While that is possible, I want to tell you that the advantage that all of you graduates have over me, this education, this college degree that you have worked so hard for, I envy you because that I spent and wasted because of what I didn't know. I could have paid for everybody's education in this entire school. You see, somebody say, go ahead, listen. See, you see, come on now, I only got 20 minutes to get through this. Listen, maybe 30, maybe 30. Listen, you see, it was what I didn't know and that I didn't get in college that made it different. I didn't know the basics of business that if I had gone to college, I could have learned them, which would have helped me so much. Now, don't feel sorry for me, I'm doing all right. But my journey would have been so much easier had I taken advantage of the kind of education that you have been afforded here at Tuskegee. When I was growing up, my father was a carpenter. He would take me to work with him. And in the summertime, you know, it was really hot, and I'd be out there with him, and he'd be building these houses. And the part that I hated most about this was when we had to put in the foundation. The part that was very labor intensive. There were the footings that had to be dug to a certain depth. However tall the building was, that's how deep the footings had to be. It was painstaking, you know, digging these holes. And I grew up in New Orleans, so you had to put in these 30-foot pilings sometimes in the ground to be able to support the building. So just to know that, then it had to be what we called formed, where you put these boards around, and then you had to tie the steel, and after all that work was done, you just poured concrete over it. And here's the thing, after it was all done, if nobody ever saw it. All that work was done and nobody ever saw it. No one ever cared about the foundation. The only time you hear someone talk about the foundation is when a house is falling apart. But when the foundation is done right, nobody mentions it. And when it's done right, it can carry the weight of anything that it was designed to hold. Well, that's what you've been doing here. You've been building a foundation, one that will hold you up for the rest of your life. And you know, when I was a kid, I would ask myself, you know, why is nobody paying attention to this foundation? Why did this work have to be so hard? Have you ever wondered, for some of you, why it had to be so hard to get through school or just make it from day to day? Well, that's because what you were building had to be strong enough to support the weight of whatever you could dream. And if you're like me, you are a huge dreamer. You had to have a foundation that is big enough and strong enough and bold enough to hold all of your dreams and handle them coming true. That's why in life, it's not always an even playing field. What I mean by that is this: while for some, studying, good grades may have come easy, but for others, every day here may have been a struggle. For some, mama and daddy had money to write the check with tuition with ease, but for others, they had to make a choice between paying a bill and getting your books. For some, it was easy to focus and learn, while others were distracted by problems that they were going through at home or working 2 jobs to make ends meet. All that means is that you were being designed to handle different levels of success. I mean, truth be told, no one really knows what you went through to be able to sit in this very seat. They don't know the hell or the turmoil, but trust me when I tell you, all of it was to make you strong. Strong enough to go through whatever you have to go through to get to your dreams coming true. I want you to ask yourself this question today. How much can my foundation hold? As you think about that, I need to warn you, it takes a while to build a dream. Think about that when you get out there and you're faced with all kinds of challenges. When you get out there in the world, I want you to remember something. What's in the well will come up in the bucket. So thank God that mama and daddy and big mama and grandpa and Tuskegee, they put some good stuff down in your well. So listen to me, no matter what happens, you've got good stuff down inside of you. You can always count on it, so you remember that. But what happens if you get out there and you find yourself saying, I thought I'd have this job by now or that job by now. I thought I'd be working here or there by now. Why aren't they calling me back? Why haven't I been hired? You see, when you leave the protection of the walls of Tuskegee, when you step out from under mama and daddy's shadow, because I want to tell you something, mama and daddy protecting you is one thing, but that world out there is a whole nother thing to deal with. So what do? When you have worked this hard, built this foundation, everything you are trying to build on, it seems to not be coming together. What happens if you find yourself at an interview and realize that you are being judged because of your name, or because of the color of your skin, or because of your size, or because of who you love or where you come from? What if in a few years you find yourself at a glass ceiling that the one in the career that you thought you so desperately wanted? What do? What happens when the job that you wanted or the career that you planned for doesn't come right away? What do? First play was called I Know I've Been Changed. It was about adult survivors of child abuse, and I wanted to do this show, and just my intention was just to make enough money to be able to take care of my mother.
Do you guys see this app right here? It's called Other Than Selling Physical Products.
My mother, that's all I wanted to do. That was my goal. Make the money and retire her. Anyway, I just moved to Atlanta to try and launch this place, so I went to work. I would always work. You have to always work. You gotta always go to work. I managed to save $12,000 and I put the show up, working used car, bill collector, H&R Block tax return that wasn't quite right, but I got my money out of it. I thought 1,200 people would show up that weekend, but only 30 showed up. My car payment, rent, everything was tied up in it, so I ended up homeless. I ended up out on the street with no money and nothing to my name. But I knew that that is what I was supposed to be doing. I knew that I was on a good foundation. I had put in the work, but it wasn't. Over and over again, it failed, or so I thought. From 1992 to 93 to 94, every year I was doing one show a year. I would go get a job in between, and they would tell me I couldn't take time off. So I would quit. Now, I'm not telling you to go quit your job, I'm telling you what I did. This is my story. I would go tell my boss that I need some time off, and they'd say, no, you just got started working, you just got this job, you can't have any time off. But I knew that that was my destiny, so I kept on doing the play. Every year I would do it, it would fall short, until 1998. In 1998, in the 7th year of me trying, the 7th year of me trying, I was about to give up and walk away. I had enough of it. I was going to do like my mother said. She said, baby, go down to the phone company, get you a good job, making about $350 a week and some benefits, and you'll be all right. But how many of you know mama's dream for you is not necessarily your dream for yourself? I knew I was in the right place when one day I started getting notes from people, this was before email, who had seen the show. They would say, this really touched me. This really helped me. They started telling me how it had changed their lives, how they were moved by it. Then I realized, wait a second, this story that I'm telling about these adult survivors getting over things, this isn't just about me or where I come from. It's a healing for many people. I saw it, I got it, and it hit me, and my intention changed. At that moment, it was no longer about making enough money to take care of anybody. It became about what it did for the people who saw it, who saw themselves. My entire intention changed in 1998, and everything in my life shifted after that. I was still doing the same show. I was still doing the same things, but because my intention changed, my purpose in what I was doing, this for had changed. My intention became about, how do I serve other people? How do I lift other people? When I realized that, everything in my life began to fall into place. So I want to talk to you about intention today. What is your intention in your career? Why did you choose it? What is your purpose? Because let me tell you, whatever you set your intention as, that is where you will land.
Make Easter moments magical with
All right, all right, all right. Wow, wow, wow. That was amazing and powerful. I know that you got a lot from that. I will go ahead and get everyone's takeaway, but first I'm going to share mine with you before we go into you guys. Okay, and so what I got from it is, right now you're constructing your business, building a foundation that will get you to your next level. Don't quit now, keep going. Sometimes you have to hit rock bottom. You have to hit a hard patch to fulfill your purpose. You may fail during the process, but if you just keep going, you will make it. Just keep going, know your purpose and know what you're called to do. And so I know that somebody else got something that, stuck out to them, either from the first video, the second video, or both. And so if you are wanting to share your takeaways, go ahead and raise your hand and I will unmute you so that you can share. Okay, Miss Wani, good morning.
Good morning, Queen. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
All right. I just want to say good morning to everybody on the call. And I just want to give back to you, Queen. I appreciate you and I enjoy. And both of those videos resonated in my spirit. And I want to give back to Coach Legend as well for allowing us to have this platform. And what I got from the videos is, and I just want to say the foundation is going to determine the stability of my business, because my business I'm looking at as is that building, and the architect designed the buildings, and I'm the architect of my home-based business. Now, what materials and tools I'm going to use while building my business is going to show how long and how solid my business shall be for years to come, because even though it's built solid, there will be, cracks, crevices that's going to, happen during the year. That's what happened with buildings as well as this business as years go on. But what I have to remember and ask myself, what additional trainings or changes am I going to make to enhance my business as right now and as time go on? And I want to add, according to that first video you showed, I would like to add that I would be lost if it weren't for God's grace and God's mercy, and prayer do definitely change all things. And that's my takeaway, and I appreciate you, Queen.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much, Ms. Wani, for sharing. You always have a great takeaway. Definitely agree with you when you said, prayer, faith changes things, as well as, you're going to hit stumbling blocks, but you just have to stay plugged in. Is basically what you were saying, stay the course, stay plugged in, stay by the ones that can lead you in the right direction and everything. And so thank you so much for sharing your takeaway. Is there anyone else who wants to share this morning? Okay, I don't see anyone else. I'm gonna just make sure. Okay, I see you, Miss Belinda. Good morning. I'll go ahead and unmute you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
The first thing that stuck out to me was about the prayer and getting yourself in line with God and how you could talk to Him at any time. And since this is a God based business, like we should always make sure that we have Him in the forefront. Um, it's whoever you believe in as your higher power, not a particular, you know, name. And also the foundation, making sure you have a strong foundation. One thing about coming into the business, especially if you are new, even if you messed up, you have the opportunity to go back and set that foundation like it should be. And so I think that's kind of where I am, needing to make a stronger foundation. I can't hear you.
Okay, okay. Was that all you wanted to share?
Yes.
Okay, okay. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Think it's delaying. Okay, I'm back. Okay, so yes, you're definitely, your foundation is very important. The way you build, do anything is the way you do anything. And so everything, and so you want to make sure that you build the foundation, strong, do it the right way first so that everything continues to work the way that it's designed to work. So thank you so much, Miss Belinda. Is there any other, remarks or questions? Anybody else want to share anything? Feel free to raise your hand and I'll unmute you. Okay, I don't think anybody else wanted to say anything, but I just want to add to what she was saying. We all go through a process of building a foundation and having to reconstruct ourselves and develop ourselves in this business. And so this was just really a reminder, to make sure that you're building a foundation and a firm start in anything that you do. It doesn't mean, it doesn't mean that you have to have a education. It doesn't mean that you have to have whatever it is that society says that you have to be successful. Sometimes it's not what you know, but it's who you know. And so, if you place yourself in the right rooms and you place yourself around the right people, you still can see the same level of success as some people that have all of that, and so it's not always that. Sometimes you get, you think, okay, I gotta get this college degree, to be successful. And sometimes the people that do that don't even use their degree for the line of work that they choose to do. And so that just goes to show you, it's all in your mindset, your bite, your grind, how hard of a worker you are. All that matters. All that matters is that you don't give up on yourself. You just keep going. You just keep fighting. And anything that you say you want, you go out there and you go get it. Okay. And so definitely, you gotta just keep going. You got to have that go-getter mentality about yourself. Don't let anything get you down for too long. If you fall, bounce right back up and keep going. Okay. And so definitely that's pretty much what it rang out to me. It's not always the piece of paper that says you're certified. It doesn't take all of that every time to be successful. It's a lot of successful people in this world. It's all about who you know and where you place yourself. Okay. And so is anybody else that wants to share anything before we stop? Paisley in the background, y'all excuse her. Anybody else want to share anything? I see Michelle. Good morning, Michelle.
Good morning. Oh my gosh, you always bring good videos. I really
Thank
thank you
you.
for that. Uh, when I was just laying here thinking, listening to you speak and listening to everybody else speak, and what really has changed in my business is having a system. I mean, if you go to college, you go to school all the way from grade school all the way up, they have a system in place. Education overall has a system in place. Like you'll have your first period, your second period, and so on. And it's because when you have a system in place, it works. If you don't have a system in place, then you're wandering all over the place, just wondering what to do next. And you're never being consistent, never doing the same things every day. If you stay consistent doing the same things every day, it's guaranteed to work. And that's where I found my most success is even from the moment that I wake up in the morning, exactly doing the same thing all the way through the day. And also I usually write a journal and keep track of what I did yesterday, and I look today what I did to see if there's anywhere I could change it to improve it. So make sure that no matter what the system is, it's a habit. Okay, you have to form good habits replacing old habits. And when you do the system, it's so much easier to move into another system if you have one already, than if you're jumping into a system and you're not prepared for a system. Because when you don't have a system, you're just wandering all over the place. But if you get something down where you can do it, just like going to school, just like going to work, you know that you have to do something at this time every day, it's going to work for you. Thank you so much.
Wow, thank you so much. I think it's waiting on me to speak before it records or whatever. It's doing something different that I'm not used to this morning, but thank you so much, Michelle. That makes a lot of sense. You know, that takes me back to when we say we need to put more structure in our day. Stick to what works is working for you. You know, don't, you know, you can try and experiment with things, but you want to always go back to the things that's working and do what's working. Like you say, stick to a system, have a format, and keep that same rotation, because once you find something that works, you want to stick with it. If you know, do something different and you see it's not working, just go back to what you've been doing. Keep your routine, keep your momentum, because it's you know, it can be very easy to get very hard to find momentum, and very easy to lose it if you don't be careful and make sure that you're staying on track. Okay, and so that makes a lot of sense. You know, you want more structure in your day. If you have to write it out until it becomes, you know, second nature for you, do that. But definitely thank you so much for you know, reminding us of that, Michelle. That's definitely gonna help a lot of people. So I appreciate you sharing your takeaway. Does anybody else have any takeaway or any remark or any question or comment or anything they want to say before we go ahead and end the call for this morning? All right, I don't think I see anyone else. So I really appreciate you guys. I really appreciate you guys, you know, for showing up. You know, some days are easier to show up than others. And so I definitely appreciate everyone that's showing up, not only for, you know, the dream team, but for yourself. Okay, and so we will do this again next week, same time, same place. I will be here each Tuesday. Make sure that your team is on. And so I appreciate everyone that, you know, gave their takeaways, that showed up. We're one team, one dream. I appreciate everybody. Okay, and so I love you guys. Until next time, see you later. Have a great day. Go out there and be great.